Hello, everyone. Uh, it's Wante, and today we're going to discuss the upcoming mid-chapter for Dead by Daylight. Now, as I said here in the forums during our 6th anniversary broadcast, they did announce that they would be fixing up changing the progression system and shifting the meta in the terms of perks, and they've outlined everything they're about to do in this upcoming mid-chapter next week after the 6th anniversary event ends. So yeah, for the progression system, essentially now you'll be forced to prestige. I think once you hit level 50, it's no longer optional. And each time you prestige from tiers 1 to 3, you'll get those specific perks to fucking, yeah. I will say, I'm not entirely sure on the maths. 75%. They say it's 1.01 hours, 4.1 hours, so especially because of what they've done to some of the perks, you know, blood point bonuses and shit like that. I still think for new players that this is going to be still like fairly rough, but it's a lot better than it was. It's crazy. Yeah, so teachable rarity is no more. There's no teachables that pop up. They're now directly tied to prestige. So if you prestige a character, their tier 1 version goes on all other survivors or all other killers, depending on what you prestige. And then, as I say here, like with say you prestige the Trapper, this will instantly unlock tier 1 versions of Agitation, Brute Strength, and Unnerving Presence on all other killers. Tier 2 and 3 versions of these perks will now appear randomly in the Blood Web. And also the big thing, no more resets. And that means you don't lose your perks, items, add-ons, and offerings. And perk slots also remain unlocked after prestiging, which is huge. I think because of that, they also are giving, so the prestige limit is now 100, and reaching 4, 5, and 6 will now award the character's bloody prestige cosmetics, which is why I knew when something about this was going to fucking, happen. So that's why I went and prestiged my Ghostface all the way to level 3, level 50. I say 789 will grant characters unique perks as a charm. So yeah, that's chill. They also show up now on the work in progress. I will say I'm indifferent to this change. I don't think that the progression system change is something that. In fact, I do like that they've reduced the grind. I don't know if it's 75% exactly as they say, and that's because just some of the stuff you'll see later on. But like, I'm still a bit skeptical about 75%, especially if I could just doing perks whatever. The Shrine of Secrets now make tier 1 versions of it immediately available on all killers or survivors, so that's just chill. Yeah, so if you left all your characters level 50 and focus on unlocking perks, your work won't be for nothing. It's important that you don't lose anything when the system is updated. You'll keep any perks. So that's essentially just like convincing you to the prestige. That will be just annoying because I was planning on just getting all my survivors and killers to level 50. And it does increase the grind for, because I have to now go 3 fucking levels or whatever shit like that. That does sort of annoy me, but I can't just leave my characters level 50 now and just get perks. But yeah, we'll see. I have to get everyone to fucking prestige free. Yeah. So matchmaking incentives, that will be like that's what we were hearing in the broadcast, that this whoever role is getting played less and they need the role, which will mostly be killers. Let's be honest, survivor role will never be in demand. The bonus will range from 25% to 100%. So it would be like We're Gonna Live Forever stacks or barbecue stacks, like what they're currently at. They'll be shown on the main menu, So you'll get to see those. I like that change. I like that change because matchmaking incentives will be disabled if crossplay is turned off. Okay, so if you turn crossplay off, you don't get the matchmaking incentives. I see. Playing in a group can also net you a bonus if survivors are needed at time. However, this will only apply if your group's average matchmaking rating is currently in demand. Okay, so matchmaking rating. So maybe you will see Survivor shit then. That's fine. That's like, I'll base off your MMR then. Gameplay updates. Oh, this is a big thing for the base game. That's getting changed. Generator speeds are now 90 seconds. I don't know if it completely gets rid of the need for gen slowdown perks, but it's the current meta. But like, it does provide a bit more leeway. Also, kicking a generator now does something. Like, I was never like a big advocate against kicking generators. I always would kick a generator if I could see it. But this makes it harder for survivors to just tap the gen. Say, if they tap the gen, they're just going to lose progress because you lose 2.5 immediately. So you can't just tap the gen consistently during a chase to stop the generator from regressing. Which is good. Because the survivors just can't do the tap gen anymore. So, because they'll end up hurting that generator progress a bit more than if they just let it like decrease. So yeah, there's also general killer improvements. I will say, yeah, I'm a big fan of the kicking generator stuff as well. Generators also could feel quite long, but I understand why they put it to 90 seconds, because there's a reason why those gen slowdown perks are meta, and that's because coordinated teams can just smash through them. I still think they'll get smashed through, but you know, it just gives a tiny bit more leeway for killers. Yeah, so like general killer improvements now as well. This will work very well with like perks that make you speed up, like fire up and save the best for last. So it takes walls and pallets. The breaking time is increased by 10%. Generators can be kicked 10% faster than before, which are fractional changes, but just helps. And especially if you're running like save best for last, fire up, shit like that, perks that help you speed up more, you'll be just mowing through shit. Brutal strength. Like those perks all getting indirect buff because of the general killer improvements. Bloodlust is faster now. It activates, like the first tier is same, but the longer the chase goes on, 25 to 35, it'll be faster. So essentially you can end chases quicker. They've also tried to address camping and tunneling. Yeah, I am a fan of his general killer improvements as well. I keep moving on so quickly. But yeah, camping and tunneling, they have tried to address it. I know this can, depending on how the game goes, like if you get camping and tunneling at the start, it very much does suck. Especially mostly during this anniversary event. I've had it a couple times, not as bad as some other people, but you know, it's definitely annoying when people play like arseholes and shit like that. There is a clear preference for perks that grant a second chance. So borrow time, Decisive Strike, and Dead Hard, and perks that nature help survivor avoid certain death, leading to an extreme usage rate. But yeah, so like you now get borrow time. We knew this was happening. You know, that they hinted at it before that they were going to do something, and it's exactly how I would have imagined it. It's just a 5-second endurance effect, so it doesn't completely negate borrow time. I don't think they were going to rework borrow time completely. So like the fact that there's base kit borrow time now tries to incentivize the killer to go for the unhooker instead of the unhooked, because the survivor also gets 7% haste effect, which isn't faster than the killer for 5 seconds, but like it will allow the survivor to fuck off really quickly. But these effects will be prematurely until the survivor performs what we now call conspicuous action. But yeah, like these, yeah, I don't think these would get affected by a 5% bonus. I don't think any of you would be doing shit like this in 5 seconds. So yeah, the hope here is they want more perk variety, so that's what they're doing. So yeah, here it is. I am a fan of basic borrow time. I keep fucking forgetting to say my opinion. But yeah, 7% haste effect, while not faster than the killer, does provide some getaway to get the fuck out. So that's important. Now, this is the part, the meta perk changes, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with, bar a few, like barbecue and chili. Good overreading perk to start off with, by the way. But annoying that they got rid of the blood point bonus. I know it, like the perk reduction has happened, but especially for someone that's been milking the absolute fuck out of We Can Live Forever the last couple of weeks, it really sucks to see the blood point bonuses, and that's what I was fearing as well. I was actually hoping they'd go the other way and add perks like no move or other like hard mode type perks and give them blood point bonuses. As like some, like, because I think just having one perk on each side is sort of like a bit like forces it, like survivors to pick those perks, and if they added more perks with potential blood point bonuses for doing an action or some shit like that, then I think you see more perk variety because people would be like, oh yeah, or they'd add them together and so they make new duos and shit like that. But yeah, they said 75% grind reduction, and that means they don't want the blood points to be a driving factor behind perk choices. It's going to be controversial, and I've seen people pick up a stink. I'm also not happy about it. I've only used barbecue chili a few times, but you know, it is a solid perk to fucking use when you're trying to grind. And especially now that my grind, while it has been reduced, technically still is fucking quite a lot of shit I need to do. So I have to fucking still got so much grinding to do that, like, not having any blood point bonuses or any of these perks definitely does suck. But yeah, like, not a big fan of the barbecue and chili change to start off with. I didn't know what they were gonna. I always thought this was gonna be the nerf, and I was so worried about it. And yeah, they fucking did it. Ruin's an interesting one though. Ruin's got halved its regression speed, and it now instantly deactivates if a survivor is killed. This is interesting. This guts Ruin, I think, because Ruin could be so impressive if you can't find the totem, and the killer likes to provide pressure. Like, you're just not getting gens done. If a survivor dies, I mean, essentially it does its job because you'd be on the outer once a survivor dies early on, which would happen normally if this killer can keep their Ruin going. So yeah, I'm like indifferent about this change. It'd be more to see like what happens throughout the when it gets used in the PTB and live servers to see what it'd be like. Pop goes to Weasel. Yeah, so they've now, because of the base kit generation, they now do 20% of the generator's current, not total progress. So it's like it's a bit like what they did with the boil over change. No, I'm a fan of it. You know, I'm like it's. I mean, I'm really like don't really care either way, but like I think it's a solid change. Corrupt intervention is an interesting one. So now it will now deactivate once someone enters the dying state. So the killer still gets early game pressure, but not as oppressive. Because corrupt stuff I've been seeing a lot as well recently. Even though I've always seen it, but it's been around a lot. Those kills are really going all out on corrupt at the moment. So seeing this get a nerf probably will limit it. Tinkerer now only works one time a gen, which I think is a huge nerf to it, actually. Like, I don't think Tinkerer is that amazing of a perk. I don't think it was that meta to warrant such a change. But, like, again, I'm not really too fussed, but, like, geez, one time per gen. So there's 7 generators. So if you somehow end up 7 generators, you'd only get used 7 times. I mean, now the base charges increases to 90 kills, we'll have extra time to approach the gens. But yeah, I'm actually thinking about it a bit more. I am leaning towards not liking this change as much. Nowhere chill, as I said, I think it's always been like a perk that would actually be better used in high skill games, even though it drops off, because high skill games they tend to get kills before the end game. And if you're trying to get for 4Ks, I think Nowhere helps with that. And I think low MMR, Nowhere just encourages bad habits, if you get what I mean. Like you're just getting like 1 or 2 kills. You're staying in an MMR range that you're probably not deserving of being in, which means you're just getting hard survivors. I always thought like that was my biggest issue with Noed, is I thought it was not helping. It was just giving you a free kill or 2 at the end of the game and not producing. But I guess in the end, my issue with it is very minuscule. Like it's just more of like an eye roll when I see it in a low MR game, because you can just sense Noed when a killer is having a bad game and is not entirely that good. But yeah, like it's a chill change. You know, it could have actually, like, honestly, I think it could have just stayed the same, to be honest. Didn't even need the aura, but I think the aura does encourage survivors to be more altruistic to avoid getting no-edited. Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, big fan of this change. Survivors no longer scream, and the generator does like the technician type like spark effect instead of making a loud noise notification. So that's chill. So I have meta perks now. Dead Hard. I don't really use Dead Hard anyway, but this is going to be huge. I think Dead Harding is going to be a thing of the past, because you know no longer requires distance. I think you still get the animation from what I've heard, but it only provides a 1 second endurance effect when activated. So it's all about timing, which it always was, but like it's you're now not going to see those like survivor mains or whatever use Dead Hard as such like contempt for the killer. You know, when they do the fucking Dead Hard through, or they fucking that type of shit. Like that's not a thing anymore. You can't for the flashlight saves anymore, but they sometimes do that for. They can't get the distance to do around, so they have to be a bit like better positioned. Decisive Strike got a slight nerf, is it so it doesn't work in the end game, and also the summer duration is changed by a couple seconds. You know, I'm a fan of this change. It just becomes down early game anti-tunnel perks, so if the killer's been a bit of an ass early and trying to tunnel you out at 5 gens, it provides a bit of usefulness. The only thing is like the stun duration and game reduced, that sort of does suck if you're trying to get it away, because it probably won't stop the killer from tunneling you. I will also say, like, in the terms of the camping thing, I don't think they've done anything to address it in these perks. So maybe that comes in another update or some shit. But yeah, just thought I'd note that. Burrow time got a nerf in itself with the base kit burrow time. Technically, the duration lasts longer because it's now 6, 8, 10 seconds, but with the 5 seconds, it means you get maximum 15 seconds with the haste, 7% haste. So, in instance, borrow time has gotten a shadow like buff because the perk itself has been nerfed, but because of base kit borrow time, that stacks. So that's 15 seconds of just being able to fuck off. Iron Will, I think now is just not that great because you now can't be completely silent, and also is not active when exhausted. I think if it's just not active when exhausted, that would have been enough. But to do the percentage, probably, yeah, just the percentage guts it a little bit, I think. Now, this is fucking probably close to the biggest lull I got from the changes. This is definitely the fucking change that I was fucking thinking, like, what the fuck? Obviously, SelfCare, third most used survivor perk, apparently. But fuck, man, half the time it doesn't get fucking... It's like more of a killer perk. I use this perk to help me get to Red 1 because it helps with the fucking emblems. But Jesus fucking hell, this is not like a powerful tool in the right hands. It's fucking absolute lunacy that they changed it, and they changed it to this amount. Like tier 1 self-care is 64 seconds. Oh, so that's such a big look. They completely made self-care like fucking unusable. Not that it was great to use in the first place. The only best spell was also the self-heal. But obviously while the boon in itself was a better alternative, like Circle of Healing was a better alternative to self-care, they've made it just like no one with unless you're running it with Boiling Knowledge, which got a buff, which you'll see down low. Self-care is just no longer like anywhere useful for any build. Like maybe to like squeeze a little heal, but like I don't know if I ever use self-care in this current state. It just doesn't seem worth it to me anymore. Spine Chill's another perk that got fucking gutted. Yeah, so like there's no Vault Speed bonus, which would have been fine itself, but now it only activates when the killer's in direct line of sight. It essentially makes like, I'd actually argue Premonition is almost better than Spine Chill now. Which may sound ludicrous, but like the fact that like Spine Chill's only thing was really notifying you that the killer is coming. Maybe if it didn't activate when undetectable, so like stealth killers got a buff, that would have been fine as well. But yeah, it's just sort of like killed the perk. I mean, obviously, like the Vault Speed bonus, I'm not entirely like caring about. So does stop the Vault Speed from being a thing. Vault Speed build is no longer a thing now. So that non-meta perk changes now. Overcharge and Call O'Brien is insane now because you can get 600% regression on the generator. Obviously, the 400% is only for 30 seconds, but Call O'Brien and Overcharge, say bye-bye to your fucking gen progress. I can't wait to see Overcharge and fucking Call O'Brien as a duo. Like, that would be so insane. Eruption released with fairly safe numbers, but upon reflection, we're comfortable increasing them. So they up the generation propelling 10% with the duration incapacitated effect of 15, 20, 25 seconds. So yeah, Eruption got a nice buff. Knockout, this is a perk I never really see used, so it's got a nice buff. Cause dinosaurs to crawl 50% slower and reduce their recovery speed by 25%. Corophobia got a buff. The skill checks by 50% on top of its current effect, so you get a lot of skill checks now. I thought they were going to actually nerf the, when I was just reading it now, I thought they were going to like nerf the time, which would be insane with self-care. Imagine self-caring in the killer's radius. It's already going to be fucking terrible, but now it's like, that would be like just, oh dude, it'd be vomit-inducing. Dark Devotion got a nice little buff. It now like will activate whenever the obsession loses their health state. That's always a fun perk to use in fun builds, from what I've seen. Jolt gets a huge buff. It just allows the killer to regress generators simply by downing a survivor to make it more like, because there's no cooldown now. So that's good. Lethal Pursuer will now extend the duration of all aura reading effects. So if you run an aura reading build with Lethal Pursuer, it's worth it a lot more now. It's like basically open-handed for killers. Scourge Hook, Gift of Pain. Yeah, ship safe numbers. So they're increasing the action speed penalty to 10, 13, 16%. So yeah, there's now a bit of use for Gift of Pain now. Phobia. Yeah, see, like they can have a maximum 22% at tier 3 Phobia, like penalty to actions. So that's a big buff. I saw a Twitter account called Phobia. They're going to be so fucking sad. Finally, this is something that I was thinking, and a lot of people have been thinking, turning Monstrous Shrine into a Scourge Hook. Convert all basement hooks to Scourge Hooks, yeah. Faster, also 20% faster energy progression, but if the killer is not within 24 minutes, so you can't camp for your fucking... But like the Survivor will go to second stage and die quicker. Now, Survivor perk buffs for fucking Calm Spirit I don't know why they thought this was a fucking buff. Okay, you can now open chests and cleanse and bless stones silently. Albert a 40, 35, 30% reduced speed. So what, now you reduce the speed? That's a buff? That's a fucking buff? I don't think that's a buff. I think that perk was already, like, shit. Now it's so much worse. That's so bad. Why would they do the reduced speed? This is the biggest lol I got from the thing. When I saw this, I was like, no shot, this is a fucking buff. The fuck it is. Oh my god. I mean, I will say I've been a big fan of most of the shit they've done here. Saboteur got a buff, that's cool. Auras are showing yellow when a survivor is being carried. And they can able to identify scourge hooks. Okay. That's cool. So that's cool buff for Saboteur. Bonding knowledge. So this will, if you use self-care, you have to use it with bonding knowledge now, and you have to do like a campfire, because otherwise it is just not worth using self-care. So you have to use 2 perks now to self-heal. We'll just use a fucking boon at that point. Off the record now, this will be the meta perk. I can't see it not being the meta perk now. Like, there's no shot this makes it to live servers. So you know how DS deactivates during endgame? This doesn't. And you get full endurance effect for up to 80 seconds at tier 3. That means if you get unhooked at endgame, you can just wait out that whole time and protect a survivor that's maybe injured, but while you've been injured by just fucking waiting. It's insane that they made it like that. The endurance effect. Obviously, it gets lost during a conspicuous action, but that's fucking crazy. Oh, it's so crazy. That'll be so annoying. Lucky break. So, yeah, obviously Lucky break could have been amazing, but it quickly runs out. So they're giving away the recharge Lucky break. Each second spent healing another survivor. Okay, so yeah. So you can get, if you heal other survivors, you can get your Lucky break back, which is good, because Lucky break at its current stage, if you don't have a med kit with you, it isn't that great. Pharmacy, I thought was going to get turned to like maybe, my idea when I saw Pharmacy on the thing is it's going to get turned into a rummage perk, a bit like Residual Manifest is, but for med kits. But so Pharmacy just now activates the first time you search chest. Will activate. It's gonna happen multiple times in one trial. Yeah. So unfortunately, though, I don't even know if that's a buff. I mean, I guess multiple times, but it only works if you're injured. I reckon it could have been better just being a rummage perk, honestly. Soul Survivor got a buff, but it's only really good if you're going for like the Left for Dead achievement, because you get doing your generator spare speed by 75 and negating action speed by 50%. So essentially, yeah, getting the Left 4 Dead achievement, if you're gunning for it, you should use this perk and hope the kill doesn't drop hatch before you fucking finish the gen. I wonder if it stacks with Wake Up. I'll try that during the PTB. Distortion got a good buff. You can gain your tokens back for being in the killer's terror radius. So with that Distortion stakeout builds are a thing now. If you want to utilize fucking being in the killer's terror radius to get tokens, you can improve your gen speed and also hide yourself. So that's cool. Lightweight, okay perk, I've used it before. They now, so they got a bit of buff, so now your scratch marks disappear even more. So that's good. Digital View gives you a repair speed bonus to the generators, which, doesn't counteract the gen speed increase now, gen speed decrease. So you're, that's something, that's a slight buff. No One Left Behind will grant 7% movement speed bonus to any survivors you unhook. That's cool. When gates are powered rather than opened. Okay, that's even cooler. Look at that. So now it's got a decent buff. Dark Sense. Next time killer comes within 24 meters of you, Dark Sense activated. So you need, when a generator is powered, next time a killer comes within 24, their aura is revealed for 5-10 seconds. Dark Sense and deactivates. Okay, so a bit different. But now, still somewhat of a buff. That's a bit more of a rework for Dark Sense. Tenacity, tap main. I don't mind this. It now reduces your ground spot pain by 75% when in the dying state. So the increased crawling speed. This means you're much more hidden now from the killer. Hope now goes for the whole end game. Very good buff. Overzealous, the recent Hattie Kerr perk goes 6, 7, 8% now when you break a totem, but doubles if you do a hex totem. So you could blast through gens with that and maybe like resilience if you're injured. And it doesn't work if you're injured. It loses if you get injured or like get hit. But you run that with Prove Thyself and have someone else's gen, you could still fly through a gen. We're gonna live forever. A bit like barbecue. I don't like this change. I don't like that they got rid of the fucking ball point bonus. I don't think that giving like the survivor you pick up a soul guard effect is like that good. I think that picking up survivor from the dynasty was always a secondary effect. I'm not a big fan. Essentially, also like the David Adept isn't really like worth it now. David Adept's pretty rough. You got fucking no Miver, a shit of Dead Hard, and not a great perk, and we're gonna live forever. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of getting rid of the blood point bonuses. As I said, I reckon they should have given more hard mode perks like fucking like no Miver blood point bonus. Imagine getting no Miver and we're gonna live forever blood point bonus. That'd have been crazy. Yeah, no, it's just not a big fan of losing the blood point bonuses. I don't think obviously while the ground's reduced, I don't think it's reduced by that much, considering all the characters to truly properly justify getting rid of potential blood point bonuses. But yeah, here's what it is. But yeah, overall, my overall opinions, this is like the Operation Health for DBD. I think I've seen some people float that around, like for like Rainbow Six did the Operation Health. I think this is the best mid chapter that I've been around for since like September of last year of Dead by Daylight. I think there's a lot of positive changes to the game, to the health of the game, to a lot of the complaints that the killers and survivors had. I think they're going to do more as well, from the sounds of it. I think from what I've been hearing, this is just like round one of changes. But yeah, it's an overall positive change. But there is something that like I wanted to show you on the Reddit that I think accurately shows my opinion. But like, yeah, like I'm pretty happy with these changes, bar maybe this one. And obviously I don't think that one makes it to live servers, but I think that should have become a rummage perk. These ones, yeah, solid nerfs and buffs. That's chill. Okay then, yeah. I think the Iron Will's a sponge. I'm not a big fan of their changes. Well, knowledge obviously was like fucking need a buff if you're gonna run SelfCare. SelfCare, like for Claudette Adepts, is so shit now. Fucking hell. But yeah, it's a big LMAO. I would have put fucking Calm Spirit as an LMAO. But yeah, I don't like the blood point bonuses. I do agree with that opinion. But yeah, I think this fucking thing like pretty much showcases my opinion for the most part about these perk changes and how I feel about them. But yeah, I think it's an overall good shift for the meta of the game. And yeah, that's ours, Wante. And if you agree or disagree, please say in the comments. Please look in the description to follow any of my other YouTube channels if you are interested. But yeah, I thought I'd just note what the changes were, what some of my opinions were on these changes, and where I think that this is going for the game. I think it's overall very positive. But yeah, I think it's just some changes that I wish they hadn't gone with. Yeah, adios.